just jump into dark vision real quickly. Like,
Just
yes,
a
I
little.
know that gnomes historically lived underground with the dwarves sometimes, and you had the deep dwarves, and
Well, here's
you
the thing.
have
Like, I
drow.
could see
the drow.
I could see the
in dark.
drow. Yeah, I could
But
see
the high
deep
elves and
dwarves.
the wood elves.
Right. I'm like, oh, that's just because you guys are so fucking good. You're good at everything.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, like, give up a little bit. Okay, you're an elf. You're an elf, and you can see in the dark, but you're ugly as shit. See which one they choose. See which one they choose. Just the fucking ugliest, most grotesque elf ever. They'll be like, yeah. Make me beautiful. Make me fucking beautiful.
We have a couple. I gotta make this title card because I'm.
Did you put like one of those Glade plugins in here? Because it smells nice.
Oh, it does smell nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of the old books have a very unique smell to them.
That dry sort of like,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a nose patina. Like you look at the Statue of Liberty and you're like, yeah, but for your nose. It makes sense.
Bobby Hill.
Sense. See, when you're really good with words, you get to be a DM. I feel like every time I get behind the screen, I'm always like, like the thing with wheels and like horns, and I'm like, and everyone's at the table's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Wheels and horns? I'm like, are you talking about a Ram truck? And I'm like, yeah, pickup truck, one of those. Like, why is there a pickup truck in Aventide? It's like, oh, because I couldn't think of the word wagon because I'm a fucking moron.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I find that happens to me a lot, where I'm like, I know the perfect word exists.
Yeah, it's out there.
I know it, but
You've read it. You can spell it. You just can't remember it.
Yeah. Only on the spot, though. Only when you're on the spot.
Yeah. You're alone in the shower later, and you're just like describing these scenes the way that they should have been described to the soap. Just your mouth. You bring it in. You bring it into the shower, and you're just like, yeah. And then you see it, the automobile, and you're like, yeah, I fucking nailed it. Automobile, nice.
Automobile.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you ever DM'd a game that was set in like a longer term game that was set in more of like a modern era?
I did one. That was like.
How'd it go?
It's hard. The hardest part about what's nice about fantasy. Let me just pre go back a little bit. The nice thing about fantasy is, like, realistically, none of us know what it's like.
Do we have any music, by the way? BTW? Do we have any music?
We do. We should. You should be hearing it. Do you not hear it?
Oh! I had to jack it up real high. I can hear it now. Okay. It's a chill hop. Yeah. All right. Well, don't deprive the people. Anyway, you were talking.
Realistically, none of us have any idea.
I was complaining.
We truly don't know. We have ideas of what it was like. Like, things exist on what it was like, but we don't really.
500 years ago, you're talking about.
500 years ago, yeah. So yeah. We don't even know what it was like 50 years ago. Some of us, like.
No, exactly.
Pre-internet,
we have really strong opinions though about what it was probably like, right?
Can people in plate mail swim? Like, that's a big topic of discussion, right?
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, no,
have you seen? I think I showed you, or you showed me, that weird like English dude who is like all things like medieval armor and stuff, and he's got a YouTube channel, and he starts the thing by like riding this white stallion in like full mail plate or whatever, and like chopping the head off a watermelon or whatever. You know who I'm talking about? He does experiments like that, and it's often like way more interesting than I want to admit that it is. I gotta look it up.
It's his enthusiasm. Yeah, look at that. I'm gonna make the title card up.
Guy's fully fucking committed.
We're talking about player death today. Before we get too far onto this medieval, but we'll find it. We'll find it.
We're warming it up. We're getting in there. Hey, no need to rush it. It's just us.
Player death. How you handle player death, how you can
medieval guy
avoid player death or undo player death, like as in like resurrection, all that stuff. I should probably put player death, resurrection, and death.
See, this is where you fail. You overthink these things.
Done.
Player death. Should they ever be allowed back to life?
Yeah.
Modern History TV. Modern History TV. I think that's him. Yes, it is. Oh, he's such a fucking weirdo. I love it. Modern History TV on YouTube. 711,000 subscribers though, so he's doing something right.
There you go. I spelled resurrection wrong. I can't spell also. If anyone.
Oh, don't worry about that. No. Don't worry about that.
There's
how embarrassing it would be.
2 R's and 1 S. I spelled it with 2 S's and 1 R. You know what it is? Words with double consonants. Done. I can't do any word with a double consonant. I'm out. I spell it wrong every time.
All right, I believe you.
Player death or character death. That's what.
Oh, dark, super dark. Oh God.
Yeah, that's actually a good. That's actually a good note. Player character death.
Yeah. Good call. Yeah. Dude, this guy's got great. Sword versus car is one of his videos.
Oh,
how to poop in armor is another.
Dude, we got to talk about that real quickly.
Are you going to bring up
called the Stormlight Archives? And the guy's like, how do you poop in that big old, really tough armor to get off? Like these battles are like sometimes 6-7 hours.
Yeah, that you need like 5-6 attendants to put on you. And what's the answer?
You just don't take it off. You just shit in your pants and then
you just go. Which was, I was like, that's Sanderson. Yeah. And I really respect that.
Guys, I doffed my armor. Okay, so say you're in full plate and you get killed. You're a player character. You're a fighter.
I'm gonna drop the link in. I'm gonna drop the link in there. I'm gonna drop that link. There we go. Now you guys can share in that wonderful weirdo that I love. He's so weird. Okay, James, try and put us on track. Try and put us on track.
3 death saves. Fails. They're called death saves, but they should be called just death fails, I guess. You fail 3 death saves.
That's just you.
That's maybe how I should say that your character's dead, or you get hit so hard that you go into negative hit points higher than your HP pool.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Boom. Doesn't feel good.
How do you handle that at the table?
Badman.jpg.
How do you handle that at the table?
Well, here's the thing. I've only had 1 really big, and then 2 you as well. You died at my table once. But we had, that was the beginning of a campaign more so than like deep into it. I mean, how many sessions were we in when your character died?
About a year.
Really? Yeah.
We didn't do very much in that year.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy hell. Okay, I take it back. We'd been playing this campaign for a year. Me, I'm like, well, one, in my mind, it's like, if this isn't like a 1-shot or a 3-shot or something, this is like a long-term campaign, the person is going to be upset, right? Because they bring to a new campaign someone that they really want to play, hopefully, right? Like, that's the idea. At least that's the request that I give them. I'm like, when you come, bring someone that you care about, that you believe in, that you can embody. I feel like that's a big thing too, is like, bring someone you can embody, right? Even if it's just like aspirational embodiment, like, I really, because at least you're going to throw yourself into it. Like Dresden in your campaign is the guy that I play, and he's just me, which I enjoy, though. He's just me kind of just being like, all right, guys, come on, let's bullshit. Taller. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And handsome. Oh, he's a good looking guy. Much more so. He looks like this. He looks like that. Look at that guy.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Big round egghead. But for me, it's like, it's very easy to fall into the character then. And if you're at least bringing someone that you're like, I want to be this hero or this hilarious bard or whatever, or like this saddest bard ever, like super emo bard, which I think I want to play someday because I think that would just be delightful. Just like making up just shitty limericks just like that, just like, yeah, you know, sky's red and the ground is blue and I'm gonna go kill myself. You're like, that's not a song. They're like,
that's not even
please.
a limerick.
Yeah, exactly. You're just
saying
mumbling.
I don't know, haiku.
Oh yeah,
no.
what do you want from me? What do you want from me? Like just that kind of guy. But
you're making it worse though because we're talking about player character death.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, but so like if they brought someone that they love, they're gonna be real sad because like especially in our campaigns, it seems we're sort of heavy on like the stakes are high, but so are the rewards kind of thing. It's not like you're not out there risking your life for nothing as a hero. You're out there for big reasons, or at least for reasons that feel big. They feel like there are real stakes involved, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I've always been of the opinion like you have to make death feel very difficult to come back for. This is the dividends paid, friend. My stonks are really coming back.
Whoa.
They aren't. I silenced my phone and I apologize. No, so I'm off to a bad start here, but we play in a game, I think, that like we want death to feel scary and to feel real and to feel like something that's probably permanent, right? So then if you have a death at the table, it's like, oh, this feels bad because they're probably not getting that character back, right? Like unless something miraculous happens like that, they're probably not going to be able to play that character again. What I tend to do though is like I keep the person at the table. Like they can leave if they were like upset, they can leave. But I'm like, stay at the table and don't interject as a character, right? Like you can still laugh and talk and whatnot, but like not as any bit of like what your character
everything's the hand on
would
head.
Have been. Yeah. Because it fucking makes it hit harder, right? Like when someone's just like not there, like sometimes people will be like, okay guys, I'm packing it up, I'm out of here or whatever, or they'll immediately get a new character and start playing. I'm like, no dude, you gotta fucking ride it out, at least for like a bit. You know, if it happens in the first fucking 10 minutes of the session, I'd probably go for a bit and then be like, okay, here, you can be this NPC for the rest of the sesh, right? So they're not there for no reason. But if it happens in the last, like, third, it's like, oh, you just got to let that fucking ride, baby. Because they're there, but they're not. It's like you actually died. Like their body is there. Like the thing that you've talked to and looked at is there, but like they're not responding. And that's just like, oh, so brutal. But it feels fucking
crying
like
to your dice shaker.
yeah, exactly. But it makes it feel like impactful in my mind.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Depending obviously on your table, right? Like some people like that stuff. Some people don't. We tend to we play a really gritty game and we really love those like little details and things like that. So I'm all for it. Like when my character died, I was just there at the table. You know, and it gives you time to like make a new character or ruminate on making a new character or something like that. I mean, that's all stuff you can do at the table. But sometimes it's nice to just sit and watch your party go as if you were like, some omniscient being. Dead. Like you're an angel.
You're just an angel now.
Watching over them, just being like, oh man, I hope they don't fuck this up.
Right.
Because
like,
you probably didn't die at a time where like everything was safe.
No, exactly.
There's probably still things going on.
Right. And you're like you're in limbo. You're in this purgatory, almost like really. And it's sort of like, oh, that hurts. That hurts. I don't know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So like, it can feel really bad.
Oh, it doesn't feel good. No. It doesn't feel good. It feels awful. But I think it's supposed to. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to play and have fun every time. Yeah. But I also like I want to feel bad sometimes, you know, like I want to feel like this, like these characters are real and we're actually sad, like we're really sad. We're like actually sad, right?
Yeah.
We're not just being like, and then my character cries and laments and pulls his hair out and, you know, yada, yada.
It could be a really silent table. Like,
yeah,
when a character dies after like a 2-year campaign,
yeah,
it's a lot of this.
Yeah, man. But that's like, that's good. That's the meat of like,
So,
oh shit, it can happen.
Do we keep playing? Or
Right.
Are
Dude,
we
it's
like
like
too
when
stunted right now to continue?
I mean, it's like when one of your friends, I mean, I don't know how everyone out there, how old you all are or what your life experience is, but, you know, having a friend die, like someone in your peer group that you've loved and known for forever, having them die, it's like, I guess we have to keep living. This kind of sucks. You know, like it's like, what? You go through those emotions like, well, why the fuck am I still alive?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
and obviously, like we don't
you know?
think like we don't want to go that far, right? D&D game.
No.
But
It's the like the tiniest sliver of that reality. And you just get quiet around the table a little bit. And it makes, like, usually what I like to then do is like, you know, if it's a fucking battle or something, when that battle's over, you know, you've got to give everybody some time. You know, if you were going to end, it's like, maybe run that thing out a little. Let everybody kind of maybe bury the character or do whatever it is that they have to do, you know? It was beautiful when your character died in my last campaign. And they took you out and found a beautiful grove of trees and buried you and said nice words, but it like
took all my stuff and then buried me.
Yeah, looted you for the party.
For the good of the group, for the greater good.
For the greater good. Exactly.
The greater
well,
good.
But that's the thing though. That's kind of that's part of it too. Because like, here's the thing: is if it's a video game, you're like, hey, give me a shit. If he's sitting at the table, just kind of real bummed, you're like, yeah, give me a shit. Like that's really fucked up. So it feels more real.
I know some people could get really upset about that. Like,
yeah.
And rightfully so. You know, this is stuff you've worked for, and people are just taking it. It creates a lot of fun. I think that's a fun dynamic. Maybe you gotta be lighthearted about it in the very outer sphere of everything. It's a game, and you're having fun. Yeah. So if your friend loots your body, like, it could sting. It could sting.
It can.
But it's no worse than like a really well-timed witty joke at your expense, and you're like, "Ugh, I like it, but I hate it."
It also lends itself to being like, you know, if they had something that was very meaningful, it's like burying them with that thing, right?
Yeah.
Even though like it could have been great for the party to have it, it's like no. Like they deserve that, but then at the same time, you're like, man, someone's gonna just rob that grave. Someone else is gonna have, you know.
I mean, to a degree, I think like be tactful about it, Ryan. If you ever bury a friend's character, you should take the gold because they're not taking that with them, and a few other things, right? But like leave like one important item.
Leave something,
at least
meaningful.
One.
You got to
be like, look, we left you an arrow.
Yeah, it was your lucky arrow.
We took your +3 bow, but we left you an arrow.
That was a great arrow, man.
It was a great arrow. Yeah. So I don't know. And it's a DM.
But the next thing is bringing them back, right? I mean, I've played in games where, I've DM games where I'm like, guys, like resurrection doesn't exist, and that's like, oh, that's rough. I'm personally of the opinion that resurrecting people in 5e is a little too easy, like raw. You know, depending on like, or if you're playing a module, sometimes it can feel, because you look through and you're like, oh yeah, look, there's a temple of this and a temple of that. Like all they have to do is make it to like a tiny city, and there's like 50 people there. They're like, yeah, whatever, 50 gold or whatever it is. You know,
we'll bring you back to life. It's like,
yeah,
do what?
I'm like, whoa. Hey, really? You know, so it's like, I feel like it needs to be, if it's going to happen, I think it needs to be a body of work that is completed. The problem is that can really sidetrack the campaign, right? Because now if everyone's like, oh, okay, and you have to work for it, so maybe it takes you 10, 15, 20 sessions to get it done. It's like, oh, I mean, that's, we could have been making headway.
There are definitely merits to it just being like a quick thing. You're done. You had whatever you needed to do it. You get it done and you move on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think you lose in an RP based table. I think you lose something by allowing it to be too easy. Like in my opinion, like there's True Resurrection, which is like I think a 6th or 7th level cleric spell. It's a pretty high up there spell. Might be 5th. But until then, I kind of outlawed in Aventide. I was like, there's no resurrection spells except for like the top Mondo, super top resurrection. And even that's got like way more limitations than...
We had to find like a fucking demigod basically to... like an otherworldly being to get it done, right? In your campaign in Aventide. Which I thought was good. I think it was...
Oh, they weren't dead. They were just... They're not all dead.
Pretty much
just
dead.
Mostly dead.
Mostly dead. Yeah. By all rights, should have been dead. But, rule of cool. Someone loves their character. Is it more compelling? Yeah. What's the most compelling thing? I think is basically the rule you should probably be trying to go by. And I don't know. I just feel like it needs to mean something.
And I think like if the players all gather around the idea of resurrecting a party member and everybody's on board and that's what they want to do and that's what they want to go for, that can be a really fun, rewarding quest.
Because it doesn't feel like you're wasting time now. It's like, no, we're going to do the thing.
But as you said before, though, there is the pitfall. One, what does that player character play until they're resurrected? If it's like an NPC that's already been with the group, that can work out well.
That can work very well. I mean, then you have to make a full character sheet for them, though. It's like most of that shit I just fucking wing. I'm like, yeah. They got a today +3 to that. That sounds good. Yeah. Roll.
But as we talked about, while you're trying to resurrect a character, you're not going to pull out another 18 player. One of your best ideas to play for 3 sessions.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times too, people will pull out a character that's meh.
They don't even really
want to play or care. I think that can bring down the game.
It's a placeholder. Yeah. That's why I'm more of a fan of like, okay, one, I'm a huge fan of always having NPCs traveling with the group if possible, at least one, because it allows the DM to speak to the players in role, and kind of like drop lore, it makes for a much easier and I think more fluid transfer of information back and forth instead of everything coming from like the man in the sky being like, oh yeah, well, this and that. They can be like, no, I've been here before. And that's, if we go up there's goblins, just assholes, just tons of them, and it feels more real, I think, more enveloping. So you just give them. And it's like, just run with them. Especially if they've been with them for a while. They know them. It's like, just have at it. Fuck it. Don't do something dumb, please, but like go for it. And I think that's usually fun because then they're not like making a character for the sake of being like, okay, I got to play this stupid fucking character until I can get my goddamn character back. And it gives them a chance to really stretch their role playing a bit.
I try something new that they might not have ever attempted.
That they would never have probably attempted because it's going to be one of your NPCs. It's going to be something that's in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
And if you're making stupidly fun NPCs, they can be like, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. And the more character-y, I think, the better too.
For sure.
Because then you can look at the person, especially if there's someone who's a little bit more shy, and you're like, yeah, you have to do that now. That person is a drag queen. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
Oh.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Graffiti Rip, you said character death versus DM resurrecting them would be a very situational thing for me. Like, what kind of situations, like, when do you think it's appropriate to allow resurrection versus just say, no, that character is dead? because I always find it interesting to see what other people who DM think. Like, this is fair. Like if it's like, I feel like sometimes when I'm DMing, if it's like a really lucky crit by a strong monster, it's like, wow, this monster just hit you for 75 damage, right? And you died, and you couldn't really do anything, and it was the first round of combat, and it just feels bad, right?
It doesn't feel great. I'm one to like, and don't ever tell my players, but like I'm one to fudge a roll. If something like that happens, like straight to the fucking face, like nothing, there's no chance of survival. It's just almost like a sneak attack kind of thing. I'm like, oh god, that's just too many. And they're like, plink, yeah, one less. Okay, this, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I've never been afraid to fudge a roll. If I know it's just gonna go over like a fucking like lead balloon. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're less inclined to do that, James. I think you're more of like the dice decide, baby.
The dice decide.
Like, I'm like, the
mostly because I just don't want
truly bullshit.
I want the characters, the players, to feel like they accomplished. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the characters feel like they accomplish things no matter what, whether I fudge down a bit or not. As long as they don't know, right?
Well, I mean, I guess the only reason I would be inclined to do it is if I'm in that situation where like the person's fucking dead on the first hit from the fucking monster, I'm like, oh, I fucked up. Like I didn't make a balanced encounter here. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm like, oh, I don't think I did a good job. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's where depends on how much you gave the players. You're like, this thing's huge. Very strong.
No, true.
Killed hundreds of people, and they're like, we're still going after it.
Then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But that's different than being like, it's a Minotaur. It's a Minotaur.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a fucking Minotaur. That's fucking like apparently got a strength of 86. You know? Like
Graffiti. As a player, I have a backup character already in mind in case things go south, but my table also has possible alternatives if it feels good narratively. I mean, I think that's true, right? Like narratively, that's right? Usually when it is, right? Narratively, like if it feels good, go with it. Hojin writes, making it clear the one shot I ran where the dice decided this fighter doesn't get to fight. Yeah. It does feel bad, I think, like, because you get really hyped up and excited, and then you, like, rush into a room, and then Cullen puts your character to sleep, and then you die.
I'm never going to live that down.
No, it was like, there was, like, nothing you could do, because you didn't even know my rolls either.
So many rolls in a row.
Yeah. Gethron, James has personally done that to my character. I remember it, not fondly. Yeah. You know what, Gethron, I made mistakes. All right, I'm not afraid to say that I've made mistakes, and you paid for them.
Same. James, I may have made mistakes.
Better person.
I also feel like no one in the room even tried to help you. Like, they were also like, "We got to do the thing," well, and they're like, "Oh, he'll be fine."
They usually wait for like you wait till the second roll. Because you're there's a pretty good chance that they pass the first roll, and then if they, there's
that's not how.
If they fail two.
Yeah,
that's why I try to. That's why I love the whole like you hide the rolls from the other players. That's
I like that. That's the most important. That should be. I don't know if that's raw, but that should be fucking raw. Like
I don't think so.
It should be completely secret. Only you know. Like and guys and gals at home do that. Death rolls should just be totally private. The player rolls them. They don't say shit. They don't let the players or the DM know. And then like the stakes, do it once and you'll be like, oh fuck, are they okay? Are they fucking okay? I think we got to fix them, and the whole party runs over. It's like, it makes it feel much more dangerous, which is fun. And sometimes, they're dead. They're just dead.
Vidimon Disguise says, best player death is when the character goes out on their own terms. Like my friends like to play more loose ruled and have like had a character go out and take out the big bad with them, like take you down with me kind of thing. Shoved a bag of holding in another bag of holding and then use their hex blade to slice them open, essentially create a bomb out of them. So like going down to yikes. That's I just
cool.
feel like people just getting torn into different dimensions. It's just
that can't feel good. That can't feel great.
But yeah, let's talk about that. Like going out on your own terms. Like I think that can, especially if you're like, there's no resurrection in this campaign, right? Like giving your player the dutiful end that they deserve.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like I said, with a crit, you can just get taken out. Like you could, like maybe if you were at 5 HP, you could be like, all right, I'm going out, guys. This is it.
Yeah. Like sometimes,
Goodbye, but sometimes you're just like, I got hit for over half my health, and I'm a fighter with a 16 constitution. This shouldn't happen, but it did. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think that could be, well, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're looking to be a hero, right? And what's more heroic than like the way they end like all the movies? It's just been like, I can't defeat you.
Like, clink.
Exactly. But I can take you down with me. It's just like, yes. Like, that's awesome. That feels great.
Yeah. There's some people I've seen that have like the take you down with me. Like you can go down, and when you're going down, like you either take like a couple levels of exhaustion, but you can like get one attack off or something as you're going down or something like that.
Yeah, or try and Balrog them. You try and whip your whip and grab them by the leg and pull them down.
Pull them down with
Gandalf. That dirty Gandalf.
I
mean that's the kind of thing. Is like I would totally be down to be like, if they were to like, oh, can I try, as they're dying, I'm, especially if they're falling off a cliff, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, fucking everybody pause, roll. Let's see how this goes, Because
the
that's
tough part
the
about
thing.
that is
it's the meat. That's
if somebody goes down and you're like, combat continues and another 3 rounds go and you fail 3 saves, eventually it's like 3 rounds later, right?
Yeah.
But then for you to like, I stand back up, I grab them, and then I fall off a cliff and die. That's where that's
it needs to be more immediate.
DM. Yeah, so it's like,
but it depends, because if they could have rolled a nat 20 on their first death save, right? So that's like a very, like, it would have to come from the player in my mind. Like they would have to be like just dead set on like, no. Can I launch myself off with him? I'm like, I mean, you'll die. And they're like, I know. I'm like, okay, all right, give it a try.
I mean, because I think too, like I played around once in a one shot where I was like trying to do this thing where it's like, if your character dies, you get like a last few, like your final words that you can speak to the party. So like you're dying, and the party was like a really bad sport about it. I think one, because the guy was like didn't want to let go of his character. This is an online game where I tried to run something. And so I didn't know these people at all at the table. But the guy was like, didn't like that his character was dying.
Always difficult.
Yeah, he didn't like that his character was dying, and I'm like, oh, well, you get a few. What are your last words to your party? And he's like, heal me quickly. I'm still talking, so I have HP. I'm not dead yet. Heal me. Use a healing potion. I was like,
I'm not dead yet. I'm doing much better. yeah.
So I mean, I guess that requires your teammates to be good sports about it.
Good sports,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. To be like, I'm dying. But there's still time. Heal me. You fools.
I mean, that can be really funny too, like if they're in on it, like, and it's just like, help me.
Nothing we can do. Oh, I'm so sorry. Heal me. Oh, there's nothing. There's just no way to heal you. Oh, come on. Dead.
Unsatisfying.
Round 1 KOs happen. It adds weight to the fight, in my opinion. I mean,
for sure.
I don't mind necessarily knocking a player down. It's always a big question though, because like they might not get back up through whatever circumstances are, right? Like maybe don't pick on that player if they get knocked down in round 1. Don't just be like, oh, he just keeps attacking that one guy who's down.
No.
Devilishly, so.
That's one of those things for sure, is like, as the DM, I always find it hilarious when like players are like, but I'm unconscious, and like they'll play like a big bad, like isn't as smart as they are, and like doesn't know that you're just unconscious and not dead, and won't go in for the kill, because there's definitely times where that's like, oh yeah, that's a thing, right? Like you're down unconscious, and they're like, they step over and they just fucking right in your neck or whatever, and then it's personal, right? But there's also like giving that leeway of like, oh yeah, everyone else is sufficiently distracting them that they'd love to do that, but they can't because the rest of the party is harassing them so much, right? Yeah, so it's like I like to have it feel like it's a possibility, but I don't often pull that unless they really deserve it.
It depends, right? Like, like you feel like troglodytes, right? They're these, or even kobolds or goblins or anything like that. These pack groups. It's like you'd think if somebody in the party went down, all of them would jump on that one party member and start stabbing them over and over again, and then turn to fight the rest of the party, right?
Yeah,
like that's
terrifying.
Easy kill,
one.
easy kill, easy kill. Easy out. All you goblins, bring it in, easy out.
That's so fucked up. It would be fun. Okay, so that would be fun. Did you watch Goblin Slayer?
Yeah.
The anime? Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be like a fun campaign where it's like you're just like going after goblins or something, but they're fucking ruthless. And like those are the sorts of things that they do where it's like, oh guys, never go down in a fucking goblin cave because there'll be 20 on you and they'll all just stab you and you'll be dead. Right? And then like that could be really fun to be like, oh shit, are we going in there? Are we gonna do that? These guys are crazy, you know? If you guys haven't watched Goblin Slayer, watch it. It's awesome. It's fucking like the dude.
Warning, a few warnings. Though.
Oh yeah, like
actually,
not with kids. It starts.
Content warnings.
Yeah.
Maybe skip the first episode.
Maybe just assume the first episode happened. Start with two. Yeah.
Start with 2.
Yeah.
If you like that kind of thing, definitely read the content warnings.
Yeah. But like I don't know. It's scary. Is what I'm getting at.
But that's the kind of tone I really enjoy. Especially as a player, I enjoy being in those situations and feeling that like tension of like danger, and then being able to overcome that feels really good. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it feels like, other people in this world could not have done what I did. Right.
And that's the exact feeling that I'm always striving to get for my players. Yeah. Like, holy shit, guys, you did something no one could do. That was all you. You did it. You know, it's kind of awesome.
I want to talk about something player character death related. Too much player character death versus no character death at all.
Ooh.
Is there like
like that?
I haven't had a single character die in my campaign, and I think a lot of players in my campaign almost would feel slighted if I killed them. Like, how dare you?
Yeah, right.
No one else has died. How you killed me out of all the players? But then again, if you have
that can
too
happen.
many people dropping, right? On the other hand, you have too many people dropping. No one's going to make a character that they care about because they're like,
no, because it's just a meat grinder at that point, right? Yeah. Like it's World War I, and you're like, okay, just send another innocent child to the front. I don't give a shit. Fine, fuck it. His name's Bobby.
17, 16, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? That's my character.
Yeah.
That's my character. Oh, I'm dead again? Okay, fine, fuck it. Bring another one. We can make babies all day long. You know? Like, oh, God. Is that the way this war is going? No, it's a balance. And it's an important balance, I think. Because you want it to feel dangerous. But if everyone always survives everything without even being, like, maimed, then is it really that dangerous? And that's why like lingering injuries I find to be very important to implement, even if it's only for like, 3 sessions, 4 sessions or something, where they're like, your speed is halved because your leg is magically healed because it was chopped off. We put it back on, we magicked it on, just don't run for like 4 sessions, like then there's real thing, like they can still run, but there's a chance their leg will fucking fall off. So it is dangerous, but there's still a whole character, things like that. Or now they've got a peg leg and they've lost 5 feet of movement, something like that. Brutal criticals can make things very fun in that sense. There's a great chart that James and I use. That's just like you basically roll a D100 and it depends on the kind of weapon that was used and whatnot, and it can be something that's like you lose an eye, or you just stub your toe, real hard. But those sorts of things can help with that balance, I think, because it sucks when it just feels like the world is kind of nerfed, or like you're just sailing through it almost, I don't know. What do you think? What's your opinion there?
I agree with you. I mean, and those are ways, like, I think too, like if a player does go down and you're a little bit more lenient on the resurrection rules, but you don't want people just resurrecting over and over and over again, find a permanent injury chart or something like that. Or you could be kind of brutal and be like, oh, you're back, you lose either, like they used to play, like you lose 1 point of constitution permanently. Every time you're resurrected, you lose constitution. Or something, or even like, hey, you take a level of exhaustion. Always. You are permanently
right
at disadvantage for the rest of time on all your checks, because
you just gotta be careful though, because like sometimes players will be like, well, I don't want to play then, and it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it is supposed to be fun, but at the same time, like that's the balance, right? That's the balance that we're looking for. It's tough. I think once again, it always comes back to communicate, right? You got to talk with them. And oftentimes, like after the sesh, next day or two, go out, grab a coffee or whatever, sit down and be like, hey, so where's your head at? Right? Like, how much do you want your character to really come back? Let's talk about this, or are you eager to start a new character? Like, do you think they had a good arc? Do you think that their arc really could have gone somewhere fantastic? Then let's find a way, just talk. And because the whole point at the end of the day is to have fun. And if people are getting like real sad about it, it's like, that's not fun. If people are getting resentful, if people are like, gonna carry grudges, it's like, well, maybe don't come back to my table if you're a grudge holding person, but maybe that's just me. But at the same time, you know what I mean? It's just sort of talk and come to something that everyone can be happy with, right? Yeah. Even if it goes against what you had originally said, no resurrection. It's like, okay, well, maybe you're not getting resurrected. Maybe you're getting fucking reincarnated into your own body because of this. But put a button there. You got to have like a caveat, like, but you have the soul of a child in you now, or whatever, you have like a piece of a dragon heart now, and look out, man, because some dragons get jealous about people stealing their dragon heart pieces, and now you're being hounded by a dragon. Like, that's fun. Why not? Fuck it.
I mean, yeah, you could turn it into a really great story arc or a piece going forward. That's
always what you should be looking for. It's like
on the fly, but like
fold it into the story. Yeah,
you can work.
Yeah, no, it's not easy.
Something like that's like a couple campaigns long or something like that. Yeah, it could be really fun. You're reincarnated as a slime. Oh God, anime. The most powerful slime in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess our whole conversation could have just been like, "What's fun for you the player?"
This is the thing: is every time we end up talking, it's the answer to everything. Just be like, just talk to your players and be like, "Well, what's fun?"
It's the 42 of D&D.
Yeah, exactly.
But hopefully, I mean, we're here. I mean, as a DM, I DM most of the time. I feel like just don't die. Get good, and your character won't die, right?
Get good, roll good. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, that's the worst advice for anyone.
Fucking terrible.
Don't listen to me. All right. That's player character death and resurrection.
Okay.
Do you have anything? Did you buy anything this week on the internet?
Talk about that. Well, I mean, I'm always buying things on the internet. I do have something that I'm absolutely in love with, though. So yeah. You want to have it came from the internet?
All right. We're gonna do a segment called "It Came from the Internet."
A little segment.
Colin's gonna. I froze us.
You son of a bitch!
There we go. Now we're back.
Why would you do it? Why would you do that?
There we go. Well, I gotta turn this music off now because this isn't the right music for this.
No, it probably isn't. Really great. Really great. Oh. Whoa.
There we go.
Why is it so loud?
Too low.
What is happening?
I don't know why it's so loud. Turn it down. It's not loud for us. That's not the right creepy music.
What the hell?
There we go. There we go. All right.
I love that it's like
Go.
Yeah.
Go.
It came from the internet. It's so I'm like one of those like everyday carry geeks, except like I fucking hate that people say like, oh yeah, I got my everyday carry, I got my everyday. Having said that, there are things that I carry every day. And one of them that I've just gotten is this little flashlight. It's fucking awesome. It's an O-light. The
O-light?
O-light. I3T EOS. And it's fucking awesome. It's just like teeny tiny, but it's just bright as shit.
Oh.
It's got two different settings.
This thing?
Let me see.
Is it the,
no, that
Valkyrie
goes
turbo.
That clips onto a gun. So no, not that one.
Okay.
Not that. No.
This one here.
No.
The I3T.
Yeah, that little guy. It's like a little pen light. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fucking fantastic. It chews through batteries. So I ended up getting like rechargeables for it, but I fucking love it. It's so handy. Like I'm always like, everyone always says like, oh, I've got my phone on me. I've got a flashlight on me. Yes. But do you really want to stick your phone like into an engine bay or like up under a thing, into a dangerous spot? When it's much faster, just grab this.
I want
and be like,
my mechanic to do that.
What the fuck is that? Yeah. Well, when you're your own mechanic, motherfucker.
Did you get the black or did you get the desert?
This thing is like, is that what it's called? It's sort of like shitty copper.
Look at that.
I got
desert tan.
Shitty copper.
I love naming schemes for things.
Yeah. You would.
That's amazing.
You would.
Desert tan is like an amazing way to describe a color, right?
Yeah,
like my car.
Yeah.
I have a 1998 Toyota Camry, and it's one of those like bronzish silver, and they call it champagne. It's like, oh yes, bravo, bravo.
Really upsell us on that one. No. All right, well, get me off this screen. It came from the internet.
It came from the internet.
No, but in all honesty, I love this little guy. It's just got like one little AAA. It's teeny tiny and it's fantastic. It makes me so happy. I've been using it nonstop. I love it. But it does. It chews through batteries. Oh my god! So get rechargeables. Don't be that jerk. So that's that.
God, I haven't used rechargeables in forever. Everything I own
just started.
has its own. Well, everything I own is like has its own recharger.
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
which is good.
Got rechargeables. Which is
good. But like, there's so much shit I'm realizing, like Harmony remotes and stuff that just chew through batteries, and I'm just like, I'm recycling the batteries, but they're not really recycling. They're just like disposing of them like correctly, but still very wasteful. So I'm like,
Jethron says your light has two settings: blinding and is it daytime?
No, honestly, yeah, it's fucking stupid bright. It gets hot. It like actually gets hot on the brightest setting, and you're
you
like,
actually hear the AAA crying.
Yeah, it's like it's just screaming. Yeah, I like to think more of like Goku just being like spirit bomb, and he's just fucking just fucking like sending out the energy. Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
All right, everybody.
Exactly.
So see, what do we call this? Vision?
Yeah. Seeingness.
Seeingness.
A dash.
Seeingness. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Boom. Vision. Seeingness. It's a thing.
There we are. Yeah. Vision. Seeingness. Yeah, perfect. Oh, I am. I'm getting it. I must have left a banana peel in the office, and the office now has fruit flies.
I know.
I apologize.
Cullen?
If we shared an office, maybe that's what attracted them. Oh, You fucker. Nope. God, they're fast.
I want to watch this.
They're fast.
Cordia conversation, yeah. Seeing Loch Ness. Ooh.
Yes, Nessie.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah, so
we got
vision.
3 types of light in 5e. Let's just go over them real quick. Bright light, dim light, darkness. Bright light lets most creatures see normally. Even gloomy days provide bright light, as do torches, lanterns, fires, and other sources of illumination with specific radius. Dim light, also called shadows. We'll come back to that one. Just had a long talk about that one. Creates a lightly obscured area. An area of dim light is usually a boundary between a source of bright light, such as a torch, and a surrounding darkness. The soft light of twilight and dawn also counts as dim light. A particularly brilliant full moon might bathe the land in dim light. Darkness creates a heavily obscured area. Characters face darkness outdoors at night, even with most moonlit nights, within the confines of an unlit dungeon or subterranean vault, or in an area of magical darkness. Okay, we have definitions set.
Yeah, we do.
The biggest thing we're going to talk about, let's just jump into dark vision real quickly.
That's where it's all at. That's the only reason this comes up. If dark vision didn't exist, everyone I think would have a pretty reasonable expectation of like, look, it's just too dark to see. They'd be like, oh yeah, I remember when I've been in a place that's just a little too dark to see, you know, or like I've had a flashlight outside and been like, outside of the flashlight, I cannot see. You know, or like a camping lantern.
I went on a hike, and there was this little portion of the hike that was a cave, and it was like pitch dark. And I had my phone light out, and I was shining it into the dark, and I was like, I literally can't see. Like even the light doesn't feel like it's letting anything up. But you know, it's crazy scary to be in.
Yeah. And then you open your eyes real wide, like that's gonna help. Yeah, like we all naturally do it. It's just like
more light. Yeah, we just don't have the receivers.
Yeah, that's the only time that I'm really glad I wear glasses, because my eyes are open absolutely fully, and I'm just waiting for like a branch to come just like pop my eyeball.
So look, what are some
safety specs, baby?
So we can all agree darkness is terrifying. I think we are like. Yeah. We have evolved as human beings to be afraid of the dark, like as a measure to keep our.
I'm gonna get him.
I'm like so distracted. As a preservation technique, we've evolved to be afraid of the dark, right? Because scary things come in the dark. So how do you bring that to the table when every character has dark vision?
It feels that way sometimes. It really does. It feels like everybody's got dark vision.
The whole group's going to have dark vision.
Which to me really cheapens the... So as a DM, we're always trying to engineer an environment, right? We're trying to build an environment or a feeling of an environment. Maybe an engineer isn't the thing. We're trying to pull the levers, pull the strings to creep people out, to make them feel wary, exposed, those sorts of things, right? The best one is like darkness, because it's just fucking freaky, right? Like your own basement can just become like, the McAllister's basement. The furnace that looks like a fucking mouth, like legitimately scary. And why did the basements always have just such rickety stairs? It's like, oh God, it's like they designed them to be murder stations. It's just like, no. And then you add the darkness. Ooh, it's so bad. Bright light, like if there were no shadows in that bitch, you'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. I might get murdered down here, but at least I'll see it coming. It's just like too much dark vision, and also incorrect expectations of what dark vision provides makes that just go like kapoof, because everyone's like, oh no, I got dark vision. I think you put a comic up on the Discord a bit ago where it was like the speed of a bullet, the speed of like a jet, or like the speed of light. And then the final one was the speed of players telling you they have dark vision when you tell them it's a dark room. I was like, Yeah, that is the fastest thing on Earth. But you know what I mean? It cheapens that. It takes away one of those huge things. It would be like, I don't know, if dragons couldn't have teeth or something like that, and like, oh yeah, he's gumming you real bad. Yeah, you're gonna, oh, that's just gonna be bad sometime, I guess, if you trip while he's gumming you. Yeah. You know, it's just like, it's not scary.
Fire breath, and he's still got claws, but without the teeth, the dragon loses something.
Yeah, right.
The dragon's just like, hey, get back here! I'm gonna gobble you up.
Now, it would be fun to RP geriatric dragon. Geriatric
that has like
dragon
lost its dentures and
Can we just start Can we just start a new channel just called Geriatric Dragon?
Just do
yeah.
What's your AC again?
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's difficult. It's not as scary. You can't like. Here's the thing. Like, you go camping. I think most of us have probably gone camping. It's fun because you're sitting around the fire, and outside of that ring of light, it's fucking dark, man. Like, it is dark out there, and anything can be out there, and it's sort of what makes it fun. It makes the fire feel essential. It makes that camaraderie and all of your friends being there, being like, okay, yeah, we're cool, baby, we're cool. You know, then you hear something out in the woods, and you're like, are we cool? Like, are we?
Well, like, what are some ways? Like, obviously, I love the idea that darkness can be incredibly scary. But are there alternative ways, with the exception of getting rid of dark vision entirely? I like to use things like a dense fog or mist is a good way around that, because it doesn't matter how well in the dark you can see.
Yeah.
You don't have X-ray vision, right? You can't see. So in a room with like lots of lava and water steaming, makes this whole room like pitch, or in a fire that's
super
just
smart.
Creating a fog. Or I created a world, like you guys had gone into a world where you can't use eyes. You could only see magic. The whole world looked like this yellow.
Yeah, that was weird.
Gray, like old parchment. This parchment world where only things that were magical lit up. So it's not that you're in darkness. You're just in a place where vision doesn't work the same way. Like, but you almost have to create those kinds of worlds.
Yeah.
Just to circumvent dark vision. And I don't know that you should be, I guess, aiming to circumvent it, but...
No, I think, I think you just need to subvert it a bit. Being gummed to death by a dragon gives me more of a sense of dread. There is something to be said for that. Yeah, it's just like, oh, it would just like a killer whale slow. Like has you. It's like, oh god, you know you're gonna die, but it's just like, oh, yeah, fair. Okay. Yeah, I think you have to, like you're saying with fog, you have to find ways, I think, to subvert it. What I did in my last campaign, in my world that I've built, most recently, Empire's Fall, there's two suns. There's a day star and the night star, and they rise 2 hours. There's 2 hours in between them rising. So the day star comes up and it's like super golden, and you get like the morning that's absolutely completely like honey toned. And then 2 hours later, the night star rises behind it. And then it looks like normal daylight. And then at the end of the night, the day star sets first. I should mention that the night star is sapphire colored. So you get 2 hours of just like blue sapphire light that bathes the whole planet, world, whatever you want to call it. It takes in this world 2 hours for your dark vision to take effect. It's the way I sort of made it a natural evolution of having those 2 hours of sapphire light sort of gave the body the time to then be like, okay, and now I've gone into being able to see fully in the dark. Because once the day star goes down, or the night star goes down, there's no moon. So it's just perfectly dark every night except for the stars in the sky. So to that end, if you are just going about your day and you guys fall into a crevasse or something and it's dark in there, dark vision people don't have dark vision for 2 hours. So it gives me a chance to have kind of the best of both worlds. Like if things are happening at night, people with dark vision still get to have their bonus and feel like they're, you know, they've got that the advantage, that evolutionary advantage, but there still gets the chance, like if something happens,
you can still turn the lights off, hit the switch.
Yeah, right. If you're inside of a log cabin in the middle of the day and someone just goes shoomp and just covers all of the lights and all of the windows and everything, all of a sudden you're in the dark too, which I think is fun. It's a kind of a way to have your cake and murder your player characters too.
I mean, yeah, I think it does work well. I think giving dark vision, like, hey, it takes a little while to kick in, is a nice way so that you as a DM don't feel like everyone can always see in the dark. It's like, why even have dark or light?
Well, that's what I was running up against,
all.
exactly.
And that's such a big thing. I think that's such a big tool that I feel like 5e is kind of taken away from DMs. Like darkness is a huge thing. Now, I want to ask, what do you think, if you just said there's no dark vision, what would you give in place of dark vision to people who have it? You know, like dwarves and elves, and you guys at home, like, what do you think would be like if a DM came up to you and said, "There's no dark vision, but you're gonna get this instead"? I don't even think it has to be related to vision, but like, or like it's like advantage on perception checks that rely on sight, or you know,
keen eyes, or something like that. Exactly. Or you've got way better hearing too, maybe. Like, you know, is there another way? Now, I would think I would have a little bit of trouble. Like, I don't know, because dark vision makes a fuck ton of sense for like a dwarf, like a you know, underground. But think of how interesting it would be, how interesting their culture would be if, like, no, they need to bring light with them everywhere because they don't have dark vision. So is it torches? Is it phosphorescent moss? Is it, you know, creatures like lightning bugs? Do they have lightning slugs? You know, that they just put like 20 of them in a jar and they just shake them up every 5 minutes and they all kind of go like, and then they glow. And, you know, if that thing breaks and they die, like, now you're in trouble. Like, it's another thing to have to kind of worry about, and that's kind of fun. So I'm not sure I would necessarily even give anyone anything. I would probably have players that were rioting though, because it's like, if it's in the book, people want it. Even if what you're trying to do is make a game that might be more fun for them, especially as 5e is aged now. Like, we've all been playing 5e for a long time. Most people have played and they feel like they, you know the rules really well, and I'm sure they do. But what if you don't know all of the rules? Like, what if I can give you a slightly new experience? Wouldn't that be fun? And they're like, it's unbalanced. I'm like, no one has dark vision. That's not unbalanced. That's just different.
Dwarf pulls out anime flaming sword. No, I mean, I like those things. Like, there's a reason why.
No,
like,
straight up a fucking flaming sword would be amazing.
Has light. It gives off light, right? Which is like worthless to most characters. Or even giving them blind sight is interesting too, because blind sight means like your awareness is there. So like anything within 5 feet of you, you can at least sense exists, right? Like, so like things trying to grab you in the middle of the night, you'd at least have some kind of like sixth sense about stuff like that. So just giving them like 5 foot blind sight is kind of an interesting way around that, right? Like,
that could be fun.
That's a good compromise.
That could be fun. Or fucking fire weapons, a big fucking fire hammer. That's awesome. You know,
a radioactive canary.
Or it's a fucking fire hammer, but it's not magical. It's just fucking filled with oil, and it's just like weeping this oil out. Then it's always on fire, and like when you hit, like some of it squirts out onto things you're hitting. Like, but it's only got X amount like in it.
That'd be awesome. Napalm. Just a napalm hammer.
Yeah, it's a napalm hammer. But things like that is all of a sudden now it's like, because your players are always going to adapt, right? Improvise, adapt, overcome. They're always going to like rise to the occasion. It's just, I think at this point, it's more in my mind about making something new, something fun, something different that maybe they haven't experienced before. And one of the ways that you can do that is tinkering with the base, like the base stats of things. And I think a lot of people would be like, that's a fucking terrible idea. Like, that sounds like a way to make a real fucked up. Like, I'm sure the people at Wizards thought about what they were doing, and I'm like, were they? Because let's try this. But you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I can get
dark,
it.
Man.
It can sometimes ruin the fantasy, you know, especially if you're like a character. But I think like they just went too liberal with it, right? Like,
just
yes,
a little.
I know that gnomes historically lived underground with the dwarves sometimes, and you had the deep dwarves, and
well, here's the thing. Like, I could see like
the drow.
I could see the drow. Yeah, I could see
the high
deep
elves,
dwarves,
and the wood elves.
Right. I'm like, oh, that's just because you guys are so fucking good. You're good at everything.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, a little bit. Like, give up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, you're an elf, and you can see in the dark, but you're ugly as shit. See which one they choose. Just the fucking ugliest, most grotesque elf ever. They'll be like, yeah. Make me beautiful. Make me fucking beautiful.
Graffiti says, my DM would hold back visual details when we were in non-magical darkness. Like, sure, you can kind of see because of dark vision, but it's not supposed to be clear. Like, that's another good middle ground, I think. Like, just being like, you see,
well, because
like figures kind of moving. It's almost like after images, right?
Because
like
complete darkness, if you have dark vision, is dim light, right?
Yeah.
So you're still rolling with disadvantage. And I mean, I think it's the DM's job to be like, so to play into it and really sort of be like, oh, you see something. And if they roll, kind of low, maybe you misdescribe. Maybe you say, oh, and you think you see, if there isn't even anything out there, but you see something like maybe the glint off of a knife or something to really ramp them up. And it turns out it's just, like a door handle or something, but it's like,
that right? Like
subverting expectation. Well, that's the problem though. Like you have to have a group but you're not wrong. Like you have to have a group that's willing to forge ahead. Right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes when we play these grittier campaigns, it's like everyone's like, we could die. Oh, we could die so easy. We gotta be so careful. Okay, tie everyone together. I'm a big proponent of tying everyone together. Tie everyone together. Everyone gets 2 torches. All right, put on your safety vest. We've all got whistles,
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a balance.
Yeah, and all right, let's move. That's darkness. Dark vision, darkness. They're pretty clean cut when you're in darkness and who has dark vision and that stuff. Let's talk about dim light.
Dim light, baby.
As this guy said, that it's
a gray area, if you will.
The bastard gray of bright light, right? Because I have so many players.
I got it.
Like recently, I have a player who's a shadow monk. And we were discussing what counts as, because it says dim light, also called shadows, right? And so it's like, well, that could mean any shadow, right?
Like that's a shadow.
Yeah.
Right? But technically.
It's like, but when someone says like he was hiding in the shadows, I think that's more of the spirit of what they were talking about.
That's some Nosferatu shit, right? That's not like, Johnny Appleseed in the shade of a tree, right?
Yeah.
Like in my mind, like when you say hiding in the shadows, I'm like, if you can hide in a shadow, that's a dark ass shadow.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, you guys at home,
what are you driving at? What are you driving at?
No. I'm just saying, like, it brings up a lot of questions because specifically the shadow monk can teleport between shadows, right? It says, and if it says bright, dim light, also called shadows, it's like, what is the shadows? Like,
well, read dim light again. Read dim light again.
Dim light, also called shadows, creates a lightly obscured area. An area of dim light is usually a boundary between a source of bright light, such as a torch, and surrounding darkness. The soft light of twilight and the dawn also counts as dim light.
Yeah.
A particularly brilliant full moon might bathe the land in dim light.
So that definition fucking sucks. Because it starts off so weak and then it ends very particular. Do you know what I mean? Like it starts off as like also called shadows. It's like, well, okay. Once again, we're in our, apple tree shadow thing. But then it's like a very bright moon would be dim light. It's like, I think most of us have probably been out on a very bright moon. It's bright, but it's still dark as shit. Right? So it's like, it's not a great, they kind of shot themselves in the foot there.
Yeah.
Like, just be a little more
Dim light is
specific.
the problem child of vision.
Yeah.
Yes. Problem child is a great way to describe it.
Dim light.
It's tough because they rely so much. Because I kind of see like dim light as anytime you think someone would get disadvantage on a perception check, that's dim light. When you feel that comes into play, that's dim light. But like they're saying, like a gloomy day provides bright light, as do torches, lanterns, fires, and other sources of illumination within a specific radius, right? And the biggest problem is that like the shadow monk itself, like if you're standing in front of a torch, you hold a torch up, right? You're gonna make a shadow. How dark is the shadow you're making in this place, right? Like,
Well, but the main thing there in that definition, I think, is a boundary between sources of bright light and surrounding darkness. Yeah. That's the crux of the entire definition there, right? Because if someone's saying like during midday, you know, the shadow of a building, is there true darkness? Like, is the alley so deep that it's actually dark back there? Do you know what I mean? That then you might be able to hide. But if it's just a shadow in an otherwise brightly lit area, you know, i.e. the sun, I don't know. There's got to be like more obscurity for that dim light to really, I think, envelop someone in my mind. Do you know what I mean? The soft light of twilight and dawn also counts as dim light. So, I mean, and I think they don't mean like after you've been up and you've got your coffee. It's like when it really starts, you can just start to see.
But it's such a vague thing, right? Like, twilight is a lot of varying different types of...
Well, because everyone has a definition of twilight, right? Mm-hmm. Some people say it's the greatest series of novels ever written. No, I kid. No, but you know what I mean? Like, if you ask anyone, like, tell me what Twilight is, and they'll, in everyone's mind, it's going to be totally different amounts of light.
Yeah.
Like, if they were to say, like, maybe daybreak, and like the time when the sun has just gone under, or like completely under the, I don't know,
but even then, like, it depends on if you're...
It depends. It depends if you're in an open field or in a forest. Yeah. Like, you know, it's tough.
There's more degrees of nuance, like 50 shades of nuance.
Yeah. Easily 50. Easily 50.
Yeah, so it's tough, especially because shadow monks rely so heavily on dim light. To where, obviously, if you're a shadow monk, you want that dim light to be as...
Right, you're always your own advocate. Your advocate, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it does bring up. I mean, I had to finally just say, like, I think the spirit of the shadow monk was more like you can use people's shadows to do crazy things, right?
You think?
Like, I think that they, like, dim light might be too dark to be a limitation. And again, you know,
to make it not cool, to make it not fun. Basically.
Yeah, to where it's just like, well, I can never use this if it's daytime. Well, that's...
I mean...
It's tough.
What are they called? They're called a fucking shadow monk? Like, I don't think of when you say that to me, I don't think of, like, middle of the day just being like, shadow monk, you know? Like, if you say Moon Knight to me, I'm gonna be like... He sleeps during the day, probably, right? You know, like same sort of deal. Like, I would assume a shadow monk is basically a ninja. Not much going on daytime ninjas in my brain. Like day ninjas.
Yeah. Well, you haven't watched Naruto, have you?
Well, of course not, because it's apparently just chock full of day ninjas.
Yeah. This guy's right.
But here's the thing, like you said. If that's what they want, make it work, right? Talk to them, find something that can be fun.
Yeah.
And like explain day ninjas to me.
Dim light personally should be like a cloudy day where the sun seems to not be able to pierce through the clouds. Well, so it specifically says bright light, even gloomy days provide bright light, as do torches. So that's like a huge. I mean, a torch in a dark room and a gloomy day are so different, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, like a torch, like a big ass torch. Like think about like once again camping, and you throw like a big piece of cardboard on the fire, like, and that thing go for like 20 seconds. It just fucking goes up. Like that is bright. Like you'll look around and you'll be able to see everyone super bright, right? I tend to think of my torches as like closer to that kind of brightness, like movie torches. Yeah. You know, like Indiana Jones is like, he's got this fucking dinky ass little torch and the whole fucking thing. You know who did that really well was Lord of the Rings, when they're in Moria and they go to the big like sort of banquet hall with all the columns and like they pull back and it's like you can just see like they're just this little puddle of light like on this thing, and then Gandalf's like, well, let me fucking layer. I got you, bitches. And you're like, holy shit. Like very close in, that's going to be bright, but it fades so quickly. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Birch bark is basically a giant ass flare. I don't think I've ever burned birch bark.
Yeah, so birch just goes up like that. Yeah.
Doesn't burn very long, I would assume, though.
I googled Day Ninja just for everyone's edification. December 5th. December 5th. Annual Day of the Ninja is the first result.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
International Ninja Day. Neither here nor there. There's a video
for me that says, "Love ninjas. We gave Valentines to 1,000 people."
The fourth result, Ninja Day is an actual holiday in Japan.
What? All right. I'll have to read about that.
Yeah. That's for later. That'll be next week.
Yeah. That's like bathroom reading.
Yeah. What if I do an
bathroom research?
Nope. If I image search it.
Gandalf reveals their position and then blames Pippin.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the other thing too. Exactly. That's the other thing I think is interesting about, like, I have no problem giving monsters dark vision because I'm terrible. But like, if you have to go into a dark cave, lighting up a torch is it's a huge proposition, right? Because it's like anything in here that can see is gonna see us coming from a mile.
Yeah. From mile away. So it's like, but that's the risk. But that's what makes it fun, right? Mm-hmm. That's what makes the stakes high. Or you can choose to go without, and you guys are kind of maybe stumbling around. Unless everyone in the fucking party has dark vision, then it's just like, okay, no. You going.
We've taken away dark vision. Dark vision doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, I know we have. Because we just have night ninjas here. No. Yeah. It's just more fun. It's
more fun for the DM, I think. And I think, here's the thing.
I think it's more fun for the players too, but they don't fucking understand it.
No. Players, I ask you this. As a DM, I feel like, as if you have a good DM, your DM does a lot for you. They really do.
Sometimes.
He, she, they do a lot for you. Give them this one thing. Literally, give them this one thing and they will give you so much. Like,
well, that's...
They can give you give you treasure. They'll give you all kinds of stuff. The next ruling that you're like, it's on the fence. They gotta be like, yeah, I'll give it to you because you did me a solid. Called being a team player. I'm just saying.
Can we have December 6th be like, just trust your DM day? Like, because I feel like very often players don't trust their DM. Like, they don't trust that the things that they're doing are for a better game. I feel like oftentimes people feel like, oh, well, they're nerfing me just to fucking nerf me because they don't want me to be powerful or something like that. It's like, no, dude, I want you all to be powerful. No, it's like, I want you to be powerful, but I want that power to manifest in specific ways that will be rewarding, that you'll get to, maybe. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like first level, sometimes it's like, why do you guys have all this already? Like, it would be great fun to be getting some of this. But that's me. I'm weird. Yeah. I don't know.
I've been ruminating on our next campaign and what I'm gonna do.
Oh yeah.
And I have a setting that I think answers a lot of the biggest questions and problems we have with some of these rule sets. So we'll see.
Okay, I can't wait
you know
to hate
it. Also
it.
does too. It also getting rid of dark vision makes goggles of night really cool. Like a really cool item.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the one person. Like now we have to go through this cave with only one person can kind of see, right?
Yeah.
Like that weird dark vision. You're just kind of like, I can only see blurry shapes, and we all tie each other together, obviously.
Right. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's less that I don't trust my DM, more than I have negative trust even in myself. You know what? Trust yourself. I'll bet you'll surprise yourself. Trust what's in here. And if you don't surprise yourself, well then, you know, you should have had dark vision. You would have seen it coming.
Yeah, come on. Terrible. I don't know. I just think there's a lot.
Leslie? Good.
There's a lot to. I don't know. When is 6th edition coming out? They've been
2024,
talking about that, right?
About that.
It's on the way. It's on the way. I understand if you're just getting into D&D now, you don't want experimentation. You want to understand the game. You want to understand what's written in the book. Like, that can take a while. But if you've been playing, we're in the late stages of 5th edition. Like, we're in the experimental stage of it. How can we make these rules better? Yeah, well, better. Like, just the fucking, like, you know, like the Picasso stage of fucking like weird ass shit. Like, let's fucking play with this thing now, right? We know it well enough that we can improvise. We're in the jazz stage of 5th edition.
The roaring 20s.
The roaring 20s. Here we go. No, but you know, it's like, I think it's because everyone, dude, 6th edition will come out and everyone will be clamoring to fucking learn it all, and it's gonna feel fresh again, and they're gonna change things, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, and because it comes from Wizards, everyone's just gonna be like, oh, it's so good, it's all over me. And it's like, I bet some of the shit that we're experimenting with now will be in it, because they'll have had all these years with 5th playtesting and being like, oh, you know, we did this thing, we did that thing. It's like, we're in the late stages of it, all right? You've got 5th edition cancer. Just ride it out, baby. Straight into the ground. Too much? Too much?
Maybe a little too much. You've got 5th edition tea?
Okay, too much.
No, but like, I definitely think there's things like we're talking about. Dark vision, dim light, darkness, bright light. That I think needs to be more clear, so that you can make abilities that are specific to what you tailor them to be. Right, like, and I agree that you do need to leave some things for people to figure out. Like, not everything can be cut and dry, but those things seem to be very, I don't know, they're very tough. Or rules like, I think long rest, short rest, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man.
I don't think it's.
We do 10-minute short rest, and it's so much better. It's so much better.
The game doesn't come to a roaring halt every time you want to
every time, between every slight encounter, you know? Yeah. Like, you can get things blues. Happening. Like yeah. Mm-hmm.
The rules won't be so bloated down, too, because I know they added a bunch of classes, and it's invariably just, like, every time you add more and more classes, something breaks somewhere. It's tough. It's tough because you have to ask people to play in the spirit of the game or spirit of the rules, which is not always. That's another gray area.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, everything's a compromise. Always.
I'll be really interested to see when the playtest stuff comes out for 6th. I'm really interested to see what happens, how to use it, how to play with it. I've also been reading some other like new systems and stuff like that. So like
like what?
There's there's that Star Wars. Star Wars has a tabletop system that uses completely different. Oh,
what just happened to you? My God!
Resets.
Yeesh. Yeah. Technical difficulties, baby. It's just me now. It's just me. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm sorry I gave you all 5th edition cancer.
It goes from
I'm sure we'll get.
like,
well, there's a cure. There's a cure.
5,000K light
Playing.
to
You just got to play it
goes
out.
to went to 8,000 Kelvin. It was just
Oh!
like blue. It was like straight
Yeah,
blue
that's
light.
like actual. That's like headlights blue. Just like oh. Well, good.
Oh,
You
man,
look
it's so
wonderful
bright,
now.
too. So
You look
bright
great.
now too. I forgot
You
to
look-
turn the
you look-
brightness down.
No. You look great.
Yeah,
You look wonderful.
Yeah.
God, you got that nice.
the war
You got
between
such a
people that
nice
say
tone to
artists
your
suck.
skin. I'm looking at you. You got such a nice tone to your skin. I look like this shirt. Like woke up and started talking. It's like I'm jelly. I'm jelly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That olive complexion.
Yeah, it's nice, man. I'm jealous.
Neutron star blue.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. We're going to wrap up this episode of DM Office Hours.
All right, that's fair.
Thank you,
That's
everyone,
fair.
for joining us.
Hey guys, it's Bobby from the Cup. If you enjoyed DM Office Hours, check out our D&D campaign. It's on every Monday at 7 p.m. on twitch.tv/MinusOneCHA. Or just watch DM Office Hours every Friday at 6 p.m. Take care. I'll just hang out here.